perfectly rational opinion. He could hardly finish a sentence before Marks had listed all the reasons why he was wrong. Faced with the immutable fact of her dislike, Leo couldn't help but respond in kind. All during the past year, he had tried to convince himself that it didn't matter if she despised him. There were many women in London who were infinitely more beautiful, engaging, and appealing than Catherine Marks. If only she didn't fascinate him so. Perhaps it was the secrets she guarded so zealously. Marks never talked about her childhood or her family, or why she had taken a position with the Hathaways. She had taught at a girls' school for a short time, but she refused to discuss her academic tenure or explain why she had left. There were rumours, passed on by former students, that she might have been a poor relation of the headmistress, or that she was a fallen woman whose loss of status had obliged her to go into service. Marks was so self-contained and tenacious that it was often easy to forget she was still a young woman in her early 20s. When Leo had first met her, she had been the perfect embodiment of a dried-up spinster, with her spectacles and forbidding scowl, and her stern hyphen of a mouth. Her spine was as unbending as a fireplace poker, and her hair, the dull brown of apple moths, was always pinned back too tightly. The Grim Reaper, Leo had nicknamed her, despite the objections of the family. But the past year had wrought a remarkable change in Marks. She had filled out, her body slender, but no longer matchstick thin, and her cheeks had gained colour. A week and a half ago, when Leo had arrived from London, he had been absolutely astonished to see Marks with light golden locks. Apparently, she had been dyeing her hair for years, but after an error on the part of the apothecary, she had been forced to abandon the disguise. And whereas the darker brown locks had been too severe for her delicate features and pale skin, her own natural blonde was stunning. Which had left Leo to grapple with the fact that Catherine Marks, his mortal enemy, was a beauty. It wasn't really the altered hair colour that made her look so different. It was more that Marks was so uncomfortable without it. She felt vulnerable, and it showed. As a result, Leo wanted to strip away more layers, literal and physical. He wanted to know her. Leo had tried to keep his distance while he pondered the ramifications of this discovery. He was confounded by his family's reaction to Marks, which amounted to nothing more than a collective shrug. Why weren't any of them even a fraction as curious about her as he was? Why had Marks deliberately made herself unattractive for so long? What the devil was she hiding from? On a sunny Hampshire afternoon, when Leo had ascertained that most of the family was otherwise occupied, he went in search of Marks, reasoning that if he confronted her in private, he would get some answers. He found her outside in a hedged garden filled with flowers. She occupied a bench at the side of a gravelled path. She was not alone. Leo stopped at 20 yards' distance, drawing into the shade of a heavily foliated yew. Marks was sitting beside Poppy's new husband, Harry Rutledge. They were engaged in what appeared to be an intimate conversation. Although the situation wasn't precisely incriminating, neither was it appropriate. What in God's name could they be talking about? Even from this remote vantage, it was clear that something of significance was being said. Harry Rutledge's dark head was inclined over hers protectively, like a close friend, like a lover. Leo's mouth fell open as he saw Marks reaching beneath her spectacles with a delicate hand, as if to wipe away a tear. Marks was crying, in the company of Harry Rutledge, and then Rutledge kissed her on the forehead. Leo's breath stopped. Holding still, he sorted through an emulsion of emotions and separated them into layers: amazement, worry, suspicion, fury. They were hiding something, plotting something. Had Rutledge once kept her as a mistress? Was he blackmailing her? Or was she perhaps extorting something from him? No. The tenderness